This is what we do every Monday, 6:30. Talk about your favorite comics, movies, the correlation with hip hop and comics. Brought to you by the Sixth Element of Hip Hop. Please go subscribe to that on YouTube. Hosted by Reno. What's good, brother? How you doing?
All right, my man. All right. We got an awesome show today, brother.
Yeah. Oh yeah. First and foremost, I just want to say shout out to the tribe. I see we got our peoples in the building. DeMario, Jerome, Outlaw, what's good? Queen B, what's up?
Salute everybody.
No doubt. So yeah, as you were saying, this book right here, House of X, Powers of X, man, I'm mad that I finished it because it was just that dope.
Exactly.
I mean, yeah, they put it's like two series in one, and it's dope. Like I haven't read comics in a while, like, you know, the storylines, what's going on. Well, when I read this, I wasn't lost. I wasn't lost at all.
Right.
The storyline, the way who's the guy's name? Hickman, right?
Jonathan Hickman, yeah.
Yeah, this guy is a phenomenal writer. He pulls stories from years ago in the X-Men. The storyline, like, it took from stuff in the past and it made it make sense. It wasn't like, oh, let's just redo it for the sake of try to get more sales, or, you know, because whenever they try to do something new, you know, a lot of times it's because they're just trying to, you know, because the storyline got boring, so they want to kill someone off to, you know.
Right, make it exciting.
Yeah.
Some gimmick.
So I really digging how they did this storyline.
It's a great comic to pick up if you're either new to comics or haven't been in comics for a long time, like the X-Men, and want to get into it because, like you were saying, the way he writes it, he actually brings in stuff from the old stories, but in a way that you can catch up and you can understand it and know what's going on and not feel like, man, there's a whole bunch I don't understand, or it's a whole bunch of backstory I just don't know what's going on, or man, I really like to learn about that. You know what I mean? Like, that's how I felt a lot of times reading comics, and that's how they used to be. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But this guy, he really did a great job in both bringing stuff from the old storylines and telling this story in a way that you don't have to ever have read an X-Men comic before, or any comic at all. He just brings you right in from the beginning and sort of from the ground up brings you through this amazing story.
It was amazing, man.
It goes all the way through, like, the past all the way into the very, very far future.
Yeah, that's what's even crazier. So it's like, you know, is whatever they said on it, you know, in the book, you know, is it gonna happen? So they kind of left it open, like, you know what I mean? Like, you have all of this in between when this story ended in the book, in the present, and they showed what happened way in the distant future. You're still in your mind, it's like, yo, is it gonna happen? You know what I mean? It's still up in the air.
Yeah, because we don't know if that's gonna come to be or not.
Mm-hmm.
But it also sets up the basis, the foundation for a whole new line of mutant-related comics.
Yeah.
And they call that new line. It's called Dawn of X, and Jonathan Hickman is the sort of head chief of the Dawn of X. They got their own little sort of, you know, group that they write all these books, and it's all part of the Dawn of X. And you got the X-Men. That's the obvious title that's going to be there.
Oh yeah.
You have the New Mutants, which is also a part of it. And what I mean by a part of it, this is one big story where all the mutants in the world now live on this island called Krakoa.
Krakoa,
That
yeah.
was actually that Hickman brought back from the original days of the X-Men. That was the original island that stole the first team and caused Professor X to go out and find the team that we know, which is Storm and Wolverine and all those guys. That whole story was based around this mutant island that was like a living island called Krakoa. And now that living island is the home of the mutants, and it produces these flowers that gives the mutants power in the rest of the world, because the humans need these flowers because they cure like all the terminal diseases, cures any mental disease, extends life, like all the stuff that the humans need. And so because the mutants have, they own that and patented it and put it out, they sort of can call the shot. They sort of can make their demands, and they'll be met. And so now, for the first time in ever Marvel history, the mutant underdogs are now like running.
Yeah.
They have their own sort of nation and sovereignty. So
their own laws.
Their own laws.
Yeah. So even the evil mutants,
right? Yeah.
are welcome there.
All mutants from the world. Like, I don't care if you were, Mr. Sinister or Apocalypse or Magneto or Juggernaut, all the so-called bad guys, they're all part of the Krakoa nation now. And every mutant in the world has the right to go to Krakoa. If they're in prison in the human world, no matter what situation they're in, Krakoa holds the right to extradite them, to bring them onto the island and give them sanctuary. And the humans, they have to concede, because
to let it ride. Yeah.
And it's just dope, man. It's dope to see the mutants finally on top, because they've always been underdogs. They've always been the ones that were sort of chased and
persecuted,
and oppressed, and it's an analogy.
Exactly. Yep. We know what it is. Word up.
We know what it is. That's right. And there's all these great new comics from this one storyline: Excalibur, Hellions, X Factor,
yeah.
Yep. Fallen Angels with the short run.
What's Fallen Angels?
That's a dope little book where I think it was only about 6 issues, but it you know who Psylocke is, right?
Yes.
Okay. Well, Psylocke was actually the body of this Asian girl.
Yeah.
And it had the consciousness of Betsy.
The
British chick, right? Well, now in this new situation, they split them up. So now Betsy, the British chick, is now Captain Britain. She took over the Captain Britain mantle.
Okay.
And Psylocke is now finally has her body back. And she was a trained assassin, an Asian assassin thing, and this is kind of like her little new origin story.
Oh, that's dope. Okay, I'm about to check that one out.
X-23, female Wolverine. Yeah, it's a dope storyline. And of course, X-Force. X-Force. And now X-Force. Cable has his own comic, because he was actually killed right before House of X and Powers of X. He was killed by his younger self. The teenage Cable killed the Cable that we know.
What?
And yeah, trust me, devastated, bro. I hated it because Cable was probably my favorite character. And so he's dead.
So the younger Cable killed the older Cable.
Yeah, man. And so now teenage Cable has his own book, and he's part of Krakoa, and he's got his own storyline, and I'm not super happy about it, because it's not Cable. It's not old man Cable.
Yeah.
Gritty old Cable. Yeah, it's this kid now. And I ain't super happy about it, but we'll see where it goes. It's only like 5 issues in so far. But and then the Marauder.
That's new, right?
That's new, and then that's the path to X of Swords, 10 of Swords rather, which is the we mentioned earlier. And
now I read that with the House of X, the way they did that, even though it's in the comics, it's kind of like they did that because now that the X-Men movie rights is with Marvel, the MCU, that they might take, I wouldn't say the storyline, but since the whole past of X-Men has now been kind of rewritten because of House of X, that they might go with that as they start bringing these mutants into the MCU movies.
That would just be amazing.
Yeah.
Like, people don't even know.
Yeah.
If they did the House of X, the whole Dawn of X thing with the movies, bro, that would be so sick.
Yeah.
It's very, you know what I'm saying?
They were all on one island, Krakoa. That's why we didn't see any mutants, because they were all on this one island.
Exactly. It's a very easy way to bring it in. That's good.
In the what is it? The Doctor Strange movie. Well, the first thing that's the actual first thing that is coming out is supposed to be is the WandaVision.
Right.
Which, even though Black Widow was supposed to be the first, but Black Widow takes place way before Infinity and all of that, because it's after Civil War, right? I think, yeah, or after Winter Soldier, something like that, in between Winter Soldier and Civil War. So if they do that with Krakoa, like I said, they can maintain that Krakoa was in a different multiverse, because Scarlet Witch is coming out. That's the next one coming down the line after, Endgame. And then that's supposed to go into Doctor Strange's Multiverse of Madness. It's supposed to be connected to that movie. So I think they can actually correlate the island Krakoa being in either multiverse, a different universe, or actually being in the same universe but just hidden and they didn't know about it.
Right.
I think that'd be phenomenal.
That would be amazing. Yeah. That really would be dope. Yeah, man. What's it called? The Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness. They're actually going to bring in, from what I hear, they're also bringing in Spider-Man, like Toby McGuire Spider-Man.
Yes.
The Andrew Garfield Spider-Man.
Yep.
Bring them all in with
because they're from different multiverse. Yeah. Yo, that's a...
They're talking about bringing the same Mary Jane back and who else? But yeah, a lot of characters from the other movies that don't get all three green. Yeah.
That'd be crazy.
Spider-Man will be in there.
That's kind of like how DC did it with that Crisis on Infinite Earths. They bought, Smallville, Superman, and they bought the dude from the Superman from the Supergirl series. You know what I mean? And then, so it's like all three different universes.
Yeah.
It's pretty dope.
Yeah, and they kind of did something like that with Miles Morales.
First Lady's in the building. What's good?
First Lady, what's
up?
How you doing?
Sorry, I'm so late.
It's all right. I said, she gonna join in. We just had to start. We was talking about the X-Men, how they're gonna bring them into the Marvel the movie universe, because now X-Men was with another studio that ruined all them damn movies from back in the day. So now that Marvel has the rights, there's a book that I read called House of X, and all the mutants on one island. They're away from everyone. So I was saying, I think that they're gonna use the book story to put it in the movie, saying that the reason why no one saw mutants in the Marvel universe because they were all on this one island and no one knew about it. So there's rumors that they might do that.
But isn't Storm supposed to have a movie coming out?
A solo? I don't know. A lot of things are up in the air, as far as the solo movies of X-Men. They might do it like how they did when they brought all the Avengers. Each one had a solo movie. So that would be dope for them to do that. A solo Storm, Wolverine, even maybe a Xavier, Professor X, and or Magneto.
I wanted to ask a couple of questions about a DC comic, which is the Joker, because he's one of my my favorite villains.
Okay.
And so I wanted to ask Reno, being that he's the comic expert. Why did they create the Joker?
You mean like what was his origin? Like how did he come about, or why?
Into the Batman.
Well,
issue.
Like when it first started in the 40s, they brought Joker. Joker was just supposed to be like a sort of a 1 or 2 issue character. He was just supposed to be just some nutty dude who happened to look like the Joker card from like a deck of cards. Mm-hmm. And he was just like some crazy, like crazed killer, killed people with this Joker venom, a toxin that left them with a smiling face, just like in that Batman movie with Michael Keaton. In my opinion, the original Batman movie. If you remember there, Jack Nicholson was spraying, putting that toxin and everything, and so people were dying with big smiles. So that's actually from the original iteration of the Joker, where he was just supposed to be a sort of, just a lunatic that Batman would kill after like the second issue. For whatever reason, I guess popularity, they kept him alive, and he ended up being in like 9 of the first 12 issues. So he was kind of, made as the, the arch enemy of Batman based on that right there in the beginning. And so
I was kind of confused because they say like he came out in the 40s, but then I see that so his first comic issue was 1958, or was that the show?
No.
Batman show?
Yeah, no. The first appearance of Joker and his original run was in like 1940. So he was just this crazy killer, and that went along until like the 50s, where you had this a rating system for comics, right? And it came because they thought that, and this will be familiar with the parental advisory on hip hop, right? Mm-hmm. Parental advisory on hip hop came about the same way the comics code came about, because the there was a mass media thing where they were saying that comic books were responsible for the rise in juvenile delinquency and violence.
Just like they said about hip hop.
Just like they said about hip hop. So that's another comic and hip hop relation right there. But so when that came about in the 50s, they nerfed Joker into this just kind of goofy lunatic that just ran around and did silly stuff. Then like 1973 came around, and they brought Joker back to his serial killer homicidal roots. Brought him back to being the crazed killer, and they decided to make him insane so that he could go to the asylum instead of put to death in prison or something like that, so they could keep him coming back. But he was originally a character called the Red Hood before he was the Joker. He was a villain called the Red Hood, and he in this new origin where they kind of rewrote it. Because when you ask somebody the origin of the Joker, it's a very tricky question, because there is no direct, simple one origin of the Joker.
Yeah, because
there's been several.
Even that solo movie they did, that's a different version of how he became. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because he wasn't a killer to begin with. He was just a regular dude with issues, and then he started, killing people.
Right.
So that's actually what I mean too. That he was like that psychopath. After him and Batman had the fight and he fell into the chemicals, is when he turned to a psycho, or he was already a psycho?
Well, see, that's
another verse.
The first origin of him, he was a psycho automatically. Mm-hmm. Then when they changed his origin and rewrote it, he was a failed comedian, just like in the new movie. Mm-hmm. That and then he became the Red Hood to sort of take care of his pregnant wife, and then worked also at this chemical factory where he fell into the vat of chemicals, which bleached his skin white, turned his hair green and his lips bright red, and drove him insane. Mm-hmm. So in that origin, he became, from the Red Hood, he became the Joker. through falling in Nevada chemicals, and of course in the movie, you know, they put a little twist on it. There's always a twist, they always change it. But even in the comics, unlike most comic characters, there's no one origin for the Joker. There's a very, and also as far as who he is, who was he before he was the Joker? What was his name? There's no answer for that either.
Yeah, like his real name, like no one has it.
They never revealed. He was never revealed.
They just never told that in the comics.
Okay.
Well, and when they did, it was, I think they did like 3 or 4 different ones. Like, I don't read I don't read any DC really except Batman, but I only just started, so I don't really know the details of all the stories, but I just know that he had many origins and he has a very ambiguous background.
But let's just fast forward then. So, you know, it seems like they trying to keep the Joker alive, right? So they came out with the last movie, which was the Joker. But then in 1990, they came out with his girlfriend Harley Quinn was invented. That's my girl. I love me some her.
Have you seen the cartoon, the DC animated Harley Quinn that's out now? It's like R-rated.
Yes,
Yo,
R-rated.
you like that shit, D.
You gotta see that.
It's hilarious.
What channel is it on?
It comes on HBO Max now, I think.
Okay.
But I be downloading them. Like we should do I was talking about we should do a Zoom thing and watch a few of these comic things. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I love Harley.
Yeah.
He was like her patient of hers.
Right.
And she was a psychiatrist. There you go.
Yeah. She was originally a doctor. Yeah.
And she fell in love with him, and she just turned crazy like him, huh?
Yeah. And she was actually introduced, like, she's not, her origin is not from the comics. Like, her first appearance was in the 1992 animated series. That's where she came from. The animated series. But yeah, she was, and they also have a new that just came out, I want to say like within the last year, a book called Harleen, which is I think it's a 6-issue miniseries, or maybe even 3-issue, really short, but it's all about Harley Quinn's like life as a doctor and all that, and how she became Harley Quinn and stuff like that. It's really good. Like, the art is incredible. It won like all these awards for like a great story, and it's like one of the, you know, best like stories and stuff like that. And that's Harley Quinn. But yeah, like you said, she was a psychiatrist in Arkham Asylum where Joker was at, and then she was treating him, and for whatever reason became infatuated with him during that process, and you know, he just sort of started exploiting that infatuation and taking advantage of her and making her do all kinds of stuff that she was having to do. Because she kind of, I guess, went crazy trying to be like him.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, wouldn't you be crazy the things that he was doing, and then you find yourself doing this? You would go crazy. Like, how did I just lose myself and start being a serial killer? You know what I'm saying? And that's why I love the movie Birds of Prey. Because that's when she finally woke up and she was like, you know, dang, I had actually went crazy. So in the Birds of Prey, it was like her trying to redeem herself from all of the bad that she had done when she was with the Joker. So she was like going after the bad people.
Yeah.
Oh, that's how she became with the Suicide Squad.
Suicide Squad, yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, I haven't seen Birds of Prey yet.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I saw the beginning of it. I haven't saw the whole thing. I want to watch the whole thing. I heard it's good.
Yeah, it was good.
Especially that club scene was hilarious when she was in the club.
Oh my God.
Broke that dude's leg.
It was funny. It was funny.
Yeah.
It was good.
I like her as her
I like
playing.
the actress, yeah.
How would you compare the two Jokers from 2000? I mean, from 1940 to now, 2019? How would you compare those?
You mean the Joaquin Phoenix Joker or the Joker from The Dark Knight?
The Joker from Jack Nicholson.
Yeah.
Jack Nicholson.
Oh, the first Batman movie, talking about, right?
Right.
Okay.
And the guy that actually played him just recently? Because it's kind of like a similarity, right?
Yeah, well, the Heath Ledger one from the Dark Knight series, the Christopher Nolan movies, he was like, just like, you know, a crazy dude that, you know, he was scarred, but he painted his face, you know?
But didn't he also suffer from depression?
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, he was. They
didn't touch on it, but he was.
You can tell.
Yeah, the third one to me was they touched on, it was like symbolism for people for mental illness, and no one's helping them. So look what happens when you don't help them. That's how I took from the Joker movie. Like, to me, it was like I thought all three Jokers, they did their thing. Like, I don't like to compare all three just because they were just they just brought something different every time they did it. Like,
exactly.
The only one that was total garbage was the Suicide Squad one of the Jared Leto.
God, yeah, Jared Leto, yeah, that was whack. That movie, I didn't like the movie either.
Yeah,
the movie didn't do well. Yeah, but no, I would say that the new the Joaquin Phoenix Joker, the new one, that's much more close to the old like 1970s Joker, where he used to be he was a failed comedian that, you know, became, but in a way it's also like the 40s one, because he doesn't fall in a vat of chemicals, he just becomes, you know, a crazy sort of killer with
he paints his face like a clown, and
right.
Exactly.
Now the Jack Nicholson joint, that was a whole different story. Like, he was a mobster dude, right?
Yeah.
You know, he was like part of the little mafia, and he just became like crazy when he fell in a vat of chemicals. But he had a name, Jack Napier, and they had him be the one that killed Batman's parents. Yeah. Which is only in that movie. Joker didn't kill Batman's parents in any other.
Yo, and that's what's crazy, because people think because of that, you know, that was the origin why Batman became Batman. But then I heard that Joker wasn't really the one that killed his parents. So I'm like, well, who did?
But Joker did kill Robin, though, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I saw that one. That was crazy.
Joker killed Robin, though.
The animated one, you got to see that one, D. I was like, yo. He beat the shit out of him.
I seen that one was sad.
Yeah, he beat the shit out of him, like broke his legs, and like that was
I seen that, like, I think I only seen it once, but I remember it.
Yup, the Killing Joke.
This is it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and people were like complaining. I don't know who was complaining, but they're saying like, oh, you know, it had sex in it and violence. I'm like, yo, it's dark. Like, what do you want? It's not happy-go-lucky.
Yeah, you know what I mean? DC good with their animal stuff being dark.
He did something to Barbara Gordon too, right?
Yeah, that's what they talked about too. Like, yes, I think it was like he raped her or something like that. They didn't show it, but they insinuated that's what he did to her. Yeah, that's what they didn't like either. But the Joker he's a psychotic maniac. You know what I mean?
But what did he do to Alfred? Like it seemed like he got to everybody, didn't?
Yeah, I don't know what he did with Alfred.
Yeah, I don't remember. Yeah, but
well, Alfred did just die in the comics.
What? Damn, they killed Alfred.
And I think Joker had something to do with it.
Damn.
No, it was Bane. Wait.
Yo, another animated movie that I didn't know it came out, because I got this free site that I can see all the stuff. I won't let y'all know, you know, on the air. I'll tell y'all off air. Who's the dude that they took Deadpool from? He's just like Slade Wilson.
Oh, Deathstroke.
Deathstroke. Yeah. Yo, they got a Deathstroke solo movie.
Shout out to my sister on the check-in. I see you, Rena.
What up, Rena? Yeah. Yo, it's called Deathstroke something, but it's a solo movie. Crazy. You talk about blood, and because he's an assassin, he's an executioner. So, and you know DC is dope with their animated movies. Go check that one out. It's a Deathstroke. It came out in 2020. It's dope. Yeah.
It just came out?
Yeah, it had to just came out. I watched it like 2 weeks ago. I forgot to even tell you about it.
Do you have that DC streaming service?
No, I didn't, because I be getting their stuff free. I only got the Disney one, But no, I didn't get the DC streaming service because I be getting all this stuff free. So, but any movies y'all you want,
all this for free.
I'll let you know. You know.
Yeah, yeah,
later
yeah.
on. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
For promotional use only. For promotional use only. Yeah, I didn't know a lot of stuff about the Joker like y'all were talking about. You know, that was dope. Even with Harley.
I was reading it and I was like, wow, this is kind of interesting, though. So.